With demands for desktop computers and laptops increasing these days due to the pandemic, we don't know, maybe even one of these days, you might be also needing one for yourself. As of now, most people look for computers to use either for work, online schooling, gaming, or just some simple browsing just to stay connected. And with that being said, let's take a look at one of Lenovo's offerings on the laptop market. Good day to you guys, I'm Burai, and this is the Lenovo Legion 5. So without further ado, let's unbox this laptop.
Ay, nainggit siya.
By the way guys, this is a refresh of their 2020 Legion 5 series, and this is called the Legion R7000 2020 model. Upon opening the box, you are greeted with this foam that not only protects this laptop 360 degrees, but it also acts as a lifting mechanism to raise the laptop out. Personally, I prefer and like this over the others with just some simple foams or styro wrapped only on the edges of some laptops. See the blank space right in the middle of the box? That is where the M300 Legion mouse is supposed to be placed. Here's the usual manuals and warranty card. The cord, which is specific to the Chinese standard power outlets. And the AC adapter that is so slim and portable to toss around your laptop bags. Mine is a 170 watts charger, but if you purchase the higher models, you'll probably get the 230 watts charger. And there's nothing more down below. This Legion 5 or this R7000 is a China market specific model, which makes this unavailable to most stores and a little bit different from normal Legion 5 laptops. For the specs, out of the box, the R7000 is equipped with a Ryzen 5 4600H. This is a commendable CPU because it beats the hell out of most of Intel's 10th gen i5 processors and even some i7 processors in certain tasks. It has 16GB of DDR4 RAM, clock at 2933 MHz. I just wish this was the 3200s instead. Also, it has 2 slots of RAM, enabling you to do dual channel. It has 512GB of NVMe M.2 SSD storage, an NVIDIA GTX 1650 4GB variant, but do take note that there is no ray tracing here since it's a GTX model and not an RTX. I'll be discussing the specs and features of this laptop, starting from the top portion down to the lower half. Let's start with the lid. The lid is made of plastic and it has a smooth matte finish. It's just a clean surface with a tiny Lenovo branding made out of metal and the Legion branding on the opposite side, which has an iridescent paint on it compared to other gaming laptops that not only has dragons, aliens, predators that also glows, that screams, "I'm a gaming laptop!" This Legion is poised to make a minimalist approach. But one thing I noticed on this particular laptop that other reviewers might have forgotten is that the star on the Legion logo lights up. To activate it, you just have to press the function and the letter L on the keyboard. As far as I have learned and watched from other reviewers, most Legion 5 laptops has no light but only this iridescent paint. So maybe this is just exclusive to the R7000 series. But take note, this LED design on this lid is similar to the Y540. It has a 720p HD camera that I don't want to call HD anymore because the word HD is just a term for resolution and does not guarantee to give you a great detail in terms of quality. It also has an LED indicator right beside the camera lens to tell you that it is turned on. By the way, the 2020 Legion 5 laptops now has properly placed their webcams back on top of the lid, unlike their previous models like the Legion Y540, which is terribly placed below the screen. It failed miserably and it made people mad. That's why they call it the nose cam. For people who values privacy, conscious people, or simply just those paranoid friends of ours, you'll be glad to know that this has a privacy shutter, or what you can also call a lens cover. It doesn't have automated machineries, just a simple slider and boom, you're covered. And now to my most beloved feature of this laptop, the screen. It's a 15.6-inch 60Hz anti-glare IPS screen with a whopping 100% sRGB and 300 nits of brightness for a great viewing experience while also giving you a perfect color reproduction. By the way, the Legion 5 also offers a 120Hz and 144Hz screen. The 120Hz is good, but it's also crap at the same time due to having 250 nits and does have a poor color gamut. The 120Hz screen with 250 nits of brightness is somewhat dim nowadays, so personally, I'd go for anything around 300 nits or higher. Meanwhile, on the other hand, the 144Hz is the sweet spot, just like the 60Hz, because it has 300 nits and 100% sRGB. So, depending on the price on your area, sometimes there are sellers who sells the 120Hz version more expensively than the 144Hz. What? Sometimes, the 60Hz is pricier than the 120Hz. So my advice is to take your time and weigh in your screen preference, as each has their own pros and cons. If you're a gamer, you're probably better off with a 120Hz or a 144Hz. But if you're the type of person who edits videos, pictures, and values the accuracy of the colors, then I'd suggest you go for the 60Hz or the 144Hz. And now to the lower half of the laptop, the power button on this laptop. Aside from telling you that your laptop is either on or off, it also acts as an indicator to tell you off your fan speed. It's blue if it's on silent, white for auto, and red for full speed. The good thing here though is that you can toggle the speed of the fans anytime you want just by pressing the function key and the Q on the keyboard. No need to open apps to set your desired fan speed, so kudos to Lenovo for that. Granted, the keyboard as is looks dull for gamers, but does suit well for people on the corporate world. But when you turn on its LED backlight, does scream a little bit of a gamer vibes onto it. Don't get fooled by the looks though, because this keyboard is Lenovo's well-renowned True Strike keyboard, which incorporates a better typing experience, better response, and best of all, better lifespan. By the way, unlike the other gaming laptops like the Helios, TUF, or TUF, and the previous Y540, just to name a few, the whole body of the keys here is all black, even on the sides. And because of that, the light is only capable of passing through the small gaps per key, making it somewhat not that much bright at dim situations and not that much of a gaming keyboard style. Do take note that it has a minimal flex on the keyboard area, which is good enough because it's somewhat sturdier, unlike other cheap laptops that flexes like crazy when pressed with minimal force. This laptop has two downward firing speakers placed on the left and right portion of the palm rest, and those speakers are powered by Harman with Dolby Atmos. It's kinda clear as is, of course, but it's not as loud, and just a nitpick, it has no subwoofer unlike some expensive laptops, so bass is almost non-existent or meh as usual. For the ports, let's start from the left side of the laptop. It has one USB 3.1 slot and the headphone socket. At the back, we have the Ethernet port, one Type-C port, two USB 3.1 port, one HDMI port, the charger port, and the Kensington lock port. And on the right side, we have one USB 3.1 port, the Novo hole, and the power LED. Under the hood, it has a dual fan setup, same as last year's Legion 5 model. They are retained simply because this kind of kinds of setup or the layout itself does a fantastic job at giving better thermals. By the way, Lenovo calls them the cold front. Laptops thermal have gone a long way ever since, and personally, if I'm on the market for buying a laptop, I personally look for something which has the similar layout to this one. To get an access on the motherboard itself, you just have to unscrew 11 screws here. It's easy to unscrew, but pulling the cover is somewhat tricky because of the design of the side vents, which seems to be a little delicate to pry open. Upon the exposure of the motherboard, if you plan to upgrade or change some of the user replaceable parts inside, here is the battery's placement, the dock for a single 2.5-inch drive, the dual RAM sockets, and the two M.2 slots. The R7000 is equipped with a GTX 1650. It's a decent performing GPU that is widely found on any gaming laptops nowadays. This 1650 is like the 1050 Ti of the previous years, not because they're similar in performance, but because of the fact that you could almost see it anywhere on any computers, just like what happened to the 1050 before. It replaced the 1050 for being the mainstream GPU on the laptops nowadays. For benchmarks, I don't want to bother myself. There are plenty of benchmark tests out there for the 1650. I'm just too lazy to add it on my review. But believe me when I say, it's not that powerful, but it certainly is very capable. You'll never have to worry about some older games with this GPU unless that's a newer title that demands a lot of power and resources. I just wish though they lessen the overall price of the laptop though, because it's an old GPU. By the way, this laptop does not come with any installers for its drivers. If you like to tweak your computer regularly, be wary that this R7000, as of now, has driver issues, so you might encounter troubles with it if you play with it, unless Lenovo clears these things up in the future. So my advice is to not update this laptop regularly. May it be the drivers for the GPU, for the motherboard, or for the Windows itself. Wait for a stable version of the drivers before jumping in. But to be brutally honest, the 1650 is not that great of a GPU for AAA titles. I mean, it's good, but it's not as great like the 1660 Ti for an example. When playing AAA titles, most of the time it could barely reach 60 frames per second on ultra settings. So you end up lowering it down to medium settings just to provide you a smooth and decent 60 frames per second experience. But that depends on the AAA games that you're playing. Most non-AAA games will surely give you more than 60 frames per second. To be fair, if you plan to play on this for most titles and even for the older titles, the 1650 is a decent performer. Also, do take note that this GPU does not get hot unlike the other high-performing GPUs. Team it up with this kind of thermal management and you'll be sure that this will last long with you. Personally, I don't think this is good for future-proofing. Now that the RTX 3000 series of NVIDIA is out now and the 6000 XT series of AMD is coming in, hardcore gamers will surely pay for more horsepower. But this is just my opinion. Maybe if they have priced this for around, let's say, $700 or anywhere around or slightly above 35,000 pesos, I wouldn't nitpick about something regarding future-proofing. But as is and regardless of what I have previously said, this is a good laptop that I believe will surely last long enough. About the battery life, well, it sucks. But you're sure to get a minimum of 2 hours depending on your usage. Sometimes I get 3 hours while just editing and browsing, but gaming will most probably give you 2 hours or below. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of this laptop. Starting with the pros. First one I think of is the price. The ports placement, the webcam cover, the palm rest texture, great ventilation and thermal design, screen orientation options, color accuracy, screen refresh rate, the IPS and its viewing angles, 300 nits of brightness, the screen hinge, which is also pointed out by technicians and other reviewers, the True Strike keyboard, which is one of the best in the industry, dual RAM slots for dual channel function, and last but not the least, the fan control switch, which you can toggle on the go, which also happens to have an LED light indicator to tell you what mode you are in. For the cons, there's a little bit of a screen flex when you open the lid or when you move the lid, which is normal for laptops, but sometimes others do a nitpick on it. Also, the GTX 1650, it's a good GPU, but it's not that good for future-proofing. There's a space limitation in terms of storage expansion. The M.2 overlaps the slot for the SSD drive. The Thunderbolt option, it only applies to Intel variants. The design of the lid is good, but sometimes you'll encounter problems when you're gonna place this laptop on your backpacks. Most probably due to this design. It has poor sound volume and it has no bass. And last but not the least is also the price, which varies depending on the area that you're living in or where you're gonna source the laptop. My additional nitpicks for this laptop would be the partition of the hard drive. I cannot verify if the storage has been partitioned right out of the factory or if the seller did that to this laptop. I try to ask the seller, but they always ignore my question. And also another nitpick would be the Windows 10 Pro that comes along with this laptop. I'm not able to reset it to factory settings. I think all laptops, including this one, should have an access to resetting its settings to factory defaults. But alas, it's not available on this particular laptop. I don't know if it is just on my unit or because they set it up that way. Another thing is the drivers for this laptop. There has been some issues posted online about users having some troubles regarding their laptop's drivers, particularly this R7000 series, because the drivers for this laptop might be only available on the Lenovo China website, whereas everyone expects this to be just like the Legion 5, which you can access on their global website. Well, about the price, I have included it on the pros and also at the cons. It's on the pros because it is the cheapest Ryzen 4000 series that you can buy today on the market, which already includes a discrete GPU. It's also on the cons because I know for the fact that in my country, a gaming laptop is already considered expensive by the many once it reaches the 35,000 pesos mark. What more for laptops which has an entry-level to mid-tier level specs, which already cost around, let's say, 60,000 pesos and above in pesos, right? Reality is, here in my country, people will react negatively or roast you for saying that 30, 40, 50, 60,000 and so on is cheap. And it's true for everyone. It's not cheap. Now, if you ask me if I would recommend this laptop or should you buy these kinds of laptop, well, for me, it depends. If you don't need the extra horsepower which is provided by the Ryzen 4000 series, you can opt for something cheaper like the Asus tough gaming laptops. But if you need the extra horsepower of the Ryzen 4000 series and also the color accuracy of the screen and its refresh rate, and if price is not an issue to you, definitely consider these kinds of laptop. It has a decent build quality and also has better thermal management, which I could say that will last you for a long time. So that's it for my review of the Lenovo Legion 5 or this R7000. I hope you like it, and if you do, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. Stay safe everyone. Keep the good vibes flowing and have a good day.